All right, so we'll begin our revenue management discussion today with the Scrum. And the thing I'd like to share with you, Lilith, is this, right? I think this might actually be a new best practice. So inside of Whereby, we can directly share the the Trello board now. So what I was thinking of doing was this. Um, okay, what I was thinking of doing is that I can go through each card and oh, hey, welcome in, Vidi. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sorry, I was late. I was dealing with Villa Rumah Pertama.
Oh,
There was
yeah, I
a
can imagine. Okay, Justin wants to change the commission model. Yeah.
yeah, but the one that I'm working on is a deal actually.
Okay, good, 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 good. Let's see what we can do. Vinny, I was thinking about actually updating the way and style which we conduct meetings. I was thinking about
Okay.
whether we should write down most of the updates before the meeting, like what we used to do at the daily scrum. The idea behind that is to eventually move away from meetings to an entirely notification culture, right? So where
Yeah, that's the ideal way. Yeah,
right,
I
right,
know
where
what
we
it is.
don't necessarily need to meet. It's faster that way, and it's
Yep,
also
that's right.
or whatever. But okay, as an evolution to that, let's go ahead and sort of practice the middle step before a fully sort of meaningless culture first. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've opened up this board. I know you guys cannot see what I see right now, but you guys can write onto the card as well. So that's where I think the activity can happen now. Now just sort of write up what's going on. So the first card I'm going to open is RMY0. This is a revenue prediction model for the company. And Vidi, would you be able to? Okay, so Vidi updated yesterday amenities 800 found. Will convert to CSV form. Okay, to be scraped, scraping results, scraping done. Listings in database. Right. Okay, so that was the update yesterday. Vidi, do you have any more updates on this? What you worked on yesterday? What you plan to do today? Are there any
Right.
questions?
So the plan to do today is actually I've been filling up the code for the price because it's a dependency that I have to pass to DM.
Okay, all right. Vinny, would you be able to write that onto the card actually?
Yep.
So that
Yep.
way we have a live record now.
Got
So
it.
switch over to Lilith. I'll bounce around so that each of you get a chance to write. Let's go to Lilith. Oh, Vinny's back again. Okay. Let's go to Lilith. Lilith, I'm opening your card, RMU.0. So that's creating a new market building workflow. Can you give us an update on that on your side, Lilith?
Um, from this one, actually, I haven't updated because I still focus on the community town
Okay,
hall
no problem. So
materials.
all I need you to do on this one is just to write like there's a no update on the activity
Oh,
section, okay? And
okay.
that part will the good part about writing it down is that later on we'll have a journal of what's happened on that particular topic, and we might not even need to talk anymore. We just be like, okay, just read what's going on. Okay, next one to Vidi. I'm going to come back to yours. This is B.8. This is inquiry tracking to assess monthly search possibilities. All right, let's see. Vidi, any update on that? Is that passed to data to content? Good. Okay, Vidi, yes, I have seen Gani use this to decide which properties to do translations on. Having spoken to Gunny, I also want to give you a heads up. So I believe he's working on optimizing these particular listings, Mi Villa Despacito, in the sequence that you've written down in order to optimize for inquiry conversion. On top of that, Vidi, I'd like to also update you. Gunny has been told, and he understands that Chinese will be the lead translation language for most of these listings. But I also want to update you that Kezia, our intern, happens to be actually a
Yeah,
Russian
it's
literature.
yes.
Exactly. So what I'm asking Gani to do is to prioritize Russian for right now because we don't have an unlimited time with Kezia. So if we can get Kezia to start working on some of the Russian translation, then we can get a bulk of our Russian listings translated in a not like there's two translation phases. There's Google Translation, and then there will be like a more expert translation. We want to go to that expert translation as soon as possible so that that will improve the inquiry conversion rate from one of the nationalities that has the highest uh, current um, engagement with our listings. So I'm going to ask Ane to kind of focus on that part first, get the Russian part done first. The Chinese will come when they come. That's fine. There's no flights happening right now. but I'm going to shift priority to Russian first and Chinese to a secondary priority for the time being. Okay? Okay, all right, good. I just wanted to double check. All right, so that part is that. Let's go to back to Lilith again. Lilith, I believe I'm looking at RMW.1. This is the article on photo competition for branding opportunity. I've got an update for you on that one. We just had a discussion with a lady who is a lecturer at Harvard, and she triggered the same idea, actually. So she said that if you want to get internships, you need to go to the school and offer something cool. And traditionally, our offer to schools has been me as a guest lecturer or something. But in the future, I think it can be more of a contest, more of like what you have been doing right here. So this one I think is actually pretty interesting. This is your idea and discovery, but this actually might get followed up on HR later too as well, right? So this one is actually pretty related to how we'll be recruiting. But this is a good beginning for an idea. Let's go back to Lilith. Lilith, on this particular idea, can you tell us more?
Mm, Actually, regarding your last suggestion that I should talk to Ara, but Ara said that we actually uh, implement this event maybe before I come up with this idea. He said like that, but I'm not sure which event is that. I mean,
I don't know of any
I
event. I go to HR all the time.
I do, I Ara just replied me just now, and she said that I think this is more belongs to the DM, but I think it's related to HR as you
Yeah,
said because the audience will be like university students or perhaps any people that likes photography and also writing. So the digital marketing is not really, but the content team is should be involved in this, but not really digital marketing. I
yes.
think.
Okay. Let me go ahead and write that onto the card. So I will notify Ara on this card, and I'll remind her in the next HR meeting that this is related to the HR mission. It's not related to the content mission. We will need content support, but and the idea comes from Lilith. Okay, great. So I will go ahead and note that on the card too as well, Lilith, so that this is well traced. All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and I will continue to the next slide, which is learning Tableau. Okay, Vidi, tell us what's going on with Tableau. And Vidi, when can I get my 6 month revenue update?
Right. So the data is there and I can pick up anytime, but then it's not effective because I'll have to even for now I have to kind of script like not script but query the data every day. And the data you see the data, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the gist of it, but I can script it like every day. But that's why since Kabayu is a bit busy with finance, that's why I decided to learn Tableau myself, right?
Ah, I see. Okay. What I'm going to do, Vidi, in this particular case, I need this urgently, Vidi, because without this, a lot of things don't work. One of the things that doesn't work is I can't steer the direction of the company right now because we don't know if things are getting worse, better, or what's the update on that. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to redelegate this back to Bayu. He's a little bit less busy right now since he's finished with that, and I need I just need that figure. I need to see where we're headed.
Right. The query itself, I've posted in the internal tools card, and I have mentioned Kabayu, but I think he haven't seen it. It's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think, since I've mentioned him in the card.
That's fine. What I'm going to do, Vidi, is I'm going to put this on my stack. And for right now, just don't worry about it. Keep on learning Tableau, but on this 6 month thing, I'll ask my to okay, no worries. Sometimes we get busy with different things, and there are frictions, and so I'm here to remove the friction. No, no hard feelings. Okay. Self development on Python programming. Over to Lilith. Ah, right, Lilith. Tell us what's happening with that one.
No update, sir.
Oh, right. Nobody's coming to my classes anymore. Vinny, do you plan on leaving classes today?
Uh, Actually, it's tomorrow, right? It's
Okay.
Thursday.
Okay, very good. Oh shit, I'll need probably Aldo to come in and lead the Russian class today. I better inform him. Okay, that's pretty much it. And let's take a look at all the cards. And I think the cards are all there. Thank you very much. No updates on Lilis's card and revenue projection model. We have yes, the price scraper. Okay, great. That was the new, and let's hope more elegant way to do this. And then I think we can slowly transition to a more sort of synkless culture or a reduction in sync. Vidi, I've heard your comments and I talked to Lilith just before this meeting began. I think we can remove the Tuesday revenue management sync up. Okay. So the reason why we had more tight sync ups was before things were changing a lot faster and we needed to sync up every day so that we would follow the actions. But now the pace has slowed down and I think it's more about work rather than talking about your work. So that part, I propose that we go into this pattern. We do a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday sync up right now with the intent of eventually just doing a Monday and a Friday sync up maybe 2 weeks from now. So we'll remove one sync up next week. We'll see how that works. If it works really well, then we will remove the midweek sync up in the middle, and then we'll just do a sync up at the beginning and the end. And we will use Tableau, not Tableau, Trello to sort of track the progression. Yes, to video.
All right, sir. So, yeah, maybe a little bit of explaining my point. So, yeah, of course, when we talk, there are more ideas that comes out. But let's say if I have 3 or 4 meetings a day, then maybe like I don't have time to create the documents that I have to create and the codes itself. So maybe that's why I decided to take a day off on Monday, because the time I can spend to actually execute what the idea.
Ah, okay,
Okay,
yes,
right?
yes, okay.
Because if we're having a talk and ideas come up, that's really good. But then if it's not actionable, then there's no point, right? For example, um, the like coding actually, the coding is not something that we do in one sitting, right?
Of course.
Usually it's a long-term process, but in this case we have to be quick. Usually it takes like a long time to kind of like go to repository and look read the documentation and all that stuff. But of course, discussion is really good, and that's why I think, and also even without meeting directly, we can still update and notify, right? Like what I did with Lilis, Andre, Nadine, and Casintia so far. We don't really have like pairing unless it's really necessary for us to like communicate.
Okay,
So what we do is just notify each other through the board. Like I don't have a pairing with Nadine, but Nadine's project, we always communicate through the boards.
very good, very good. I like that. I think um, this is a good reminder, and thank you, Vidi, for explaining the clarifying the nuances between having meetings for meeting's sake and having meeting for idea generation. You're right. You're definitely right. I think we will have we have a lot of very engaging discussions here where we come up with new ideas and we are able to discover what we want to do. And I think we also at these meetings come up with problem solving techniques as well. Oh, right. Let me actually share this with you guys. This will not be on Trello. This will be on paper today. But this might not need so much explanation. I think you guys already get it, but just in case as a reminder, I'll sort of illustrate a little bit more. So one of the things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to step a little bit back away from each of the chapters, and I want each chapter to start sort of developing, and I want the company to start developing their own leadership style and their own leadership cadence. So part of that is sort of understanding a few things. Okay, first, why am I all over the place everywhere? Some of the feedback that I've been hearing is that who is the real leader of my chapter? Is it Jing or will it be somebody else? The answer to that is, I guess this is what's happening. In the past few weeks, we have experienced a crisis, and this crisis has been fundamentally shaken the very foundations of what our company is meant to do. So I've become a crisis leader, okay, during this interim period, to get us to a stage where I think things are stable now. We have pathways, we have missions, we have objectives, we have goals, we have OKRs, and we know what's going to happen. Now, the worst has already happened. I think so we're sort of falling. Now we're sort of at the bottom of the pit right now, and it's not good, but at least it's stable. At least now we know what to expect in the next, let's say, 12 months or so. Things are going to suck, and we're going to use that time to build something that is going to be awesome when things stop sucking. So I think my primary work as a crisis leader is done, right? I think we're on that stable pathway now. Now this is the next step. What I want to do over the next weeks is just to essentially step out and be more invisible, right? Be less like necessarily directly involved. If you guys want me to come in to brainstorm with you, I'll be happy to do that. But I'm trying to get to the point where like the day-to-day administration, the communication, these little like sort of things are already integrated inside each chapter. Also, if like you feel unwell or you want to talk about something, you'll know who's the right person to talk to about these ideas as well. The primary thing that I've been leading other chapters on is these 3 points, and I think here in this particular chapter, in revenue management, AI, data, whatever we're going to call this thing now, um, these factors are already strong. The first thing is discovery. So how to find the most urgent problem and how to find the most urgent opportunity. I'm actually really proud of the work that you guys have been doing in this chapter. And the reason why is that I think you guys have been doing a overwhelming majority of the discovery, not just for the chapter, but for the entire company. So I think Lillis and Vidi, both of you have been looking around for where the problems are. And it perhaps comes from an analytical mindset, from years of doing like mathematics training, having a process oriented thought process. So I know that you've been doing discovery just for your chapter, but also discovery on behalf of the entire company as well, helping content find what they should work on, helping others. And I like that. I think that's really awesome. That's actually what data should be. Data should be the discovery process to help every other division in the company, work on what they need to work on. And this part is also very strong here too. This process of solution finding, and this is done really well here too as well. You guys will find the solution within the chapter, but you'll also involve other parties like Lillis right now in community, Vidi going to content, and HAR to find solutions not just within here, but also going outside and getting those solutions made as well. And then the last part is the execution. Now, a lot of, I think, data, you guys can be part of the execution too as well. But when things get scaled on, you'll probably be less part of the actual execution when you sort of like take into cross chapter collaboration. But within this chapter, yes, those are you're going to need to execute these ideas that you have, right? Like if you have, oh yeah, this would be great, but how do we actually do it? That part is important. That part is where currently I say this is kind of a lacking part in where we are as a field. Yes, we find a lot of insights, but do we actually execute and create a result? Do we actually execute and create like an actual revenue? Do we execute and actually create a new or more stable partnership? Are we able to persuade people to sort of listen to us, right? This part is I would say not the strongest part currently in this particular chapter, but it's okay. Every chapter has different strengths and different parts where there's weaknesses. And this part is where I would like to help build more certainty and more confidence and more ability. And then, once that is done, I think it'll be great. It might not ever be fixed here. Maybe your strength will overlay somebody else's weakness, and somebody else's strength will overlay this weakness. There is that chance that maybe this never really gets fixed, but we just find a way to find other people to help us cover this part too as well. So that's what I have in mind for essentially leadership of the chapter. I want to delegate more leadership to you guys. I want you to include me, of course, in brainstorming idea sessions. I love that. That's where I think I do a lot of discovery, and I think these discoveries are pretty cool, and I enjoy that process. But for more and more, I think you guys can lead me. That would be great. If you guys lead me to decisions and lead me to ideas and lead me to solutions that help, let's say, everyone, that would be great. That would be how I would see leadership from this particular chapter to guide. You guys are here to guide us, all of us, to the direction we need to go in. You're like radar, right, on the ship. So the radar will see what needs to happen before it needs to happen. And it's really important for business intelligence and also business success. Okay, so that's a quick blurb I wanted to share. And yes, Lydia, I understand the point about that you're trying to reach too. It's not about like it is a careful balance of work and also communication. And what I'm trying to do by reducing the amount of meetings is to reduce communication overhead for when there doesn't need to be any. If we can do it using Trello, then why do we need to cut this time and do that? If we can't doing Trello, like you can't really brainstorm on Trello. Maybe you could. I don't know. Maybe you guys can show me if I can brainstorm on Trello. But if we do need to meet, let's keep it to that, and then we'll have very impactful meetings where we can solely focus on idea generation and brainstorming. Okay, so that was the intent of and I'd like to be as precise as possible when speaking about intent and actions. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's see, Lilith, your show is on Saturday. Vidi, I think you guys are you Lilith, Vidi, are you guys talking about the subject matter on this okay, good, okay. And also get some feedback. Liz has already shifted her discussion over to community as well to roll that into production. Oh, one last thing I want to share with you guys, because you guys are smart and I need some smart people to help me figure out what to do. So I'm taking a approach now to compensation, and I wanted to ask you guys about this idea. So this is my design for a income revenue distribution. Or actually, let me ask, Lilith, are you interested in this topic?
Sure.
Oh, be truthful. Be truthful. I don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll include Vidi because I know he's interested in HR, and this is an HR related issue, and this is also a mathematics related issue. So I want to just kind of double check on everybody. Okay, so this is essentially what the income distribution plan is at the moment. We're in a survival mode, and we want to essentially take the money that we make and help everyone survive at the moment. So Wyan and I have pledged to essentially make no income during this time, and we're gonna take this income to try to extend our runway, but also help people get through this really tough economic crisis. So the April policy is that we will essentially put 40% into savings. We netted a total of 51 million rupiah, which is good, okay, for the month of April. 40% of that will go into savings, 40% of that will go into performance. And basically the top two contributors in Survive and Thrive will get that performance bonus. 15% will go into reimbursements and 5% will go into entertainment and events. So basically, this is the breakdown in terms of that budget in a raw number format. There's 20 million that will go into savings, 20 million that will go into performance, 7.6 go into reimbursements, and entertainment expenses go 2.5. Okay, so that's essentially the breakdown. The reimbursements are currently settled in different tranches. So essentially, the first tranche will be people who have had the highest achievements and that have the lowest base pay. Those people will be paid first with whatever reimbursements that we get. The second tranche will be people who get mid achievements and the lowest base pay. The third tranche will be people who had high achievements and mid-level pay. Fourth tranche will be mid achievements and mid-level pay. And then the fifth tranche are the people with low achievement and low base pay, and low achievement, high base pay. I haven't decided where to put people with high achievements and high base pay yet, but I'm not sure where to go with that yet. But I just want to let you guys know that this is the idea. So the people who need the reimbursements most and have contributed the most, I think, should get paid first on reimbursements, and then whatever else is left will go to other groups of people. All right, so that's that. The next thing, okay, so that's just policy. What I designed the policy should be. Then here is how we're going to divide the performance bonuses, right? So currently, I'm putting myself as the project achievement judge. Why is that happening? Because I have no I'm not getting anything out of it, right? So I have no incentive to have it one way or the other. And okay, all right, and that's not 100% perfect. Wait, let me put it okay. Right, Jing has no incentive. Jing has no incentive, and yeah, so whatever, right? That makes it fair. The second thing is I will reward bonuses based on the impact that each project has had, not the potential impact, the actual impact, right? So that part needs to be clear. And in the future, I would like to actually create the guidelines for how this is being done for project selection and ranking so that we can get other people to actually be panelists and judges as well. So it's not just what Jing sees and whatever that process ultimately is very Jing biased. Okay, so that's where we are today though. And I do understand that many projects and team members are working on high potential projects that might not have had any achievements yet or definite results yet. So that part is taken into account. And I want to just tell everyone to please continue their work towards achievement. Okay, so here's the scoring system that I created. So what did I do? I thought, okay, we are going to take the performance budget and we're going to put 50% of it on survive projects and 50% of it on thrive projects because each are equally important. If we don't survive, then we don't get to the thrive part. If we don't thrive, then we don't really take and make the most out of this time that we have. So I'm going to split it 50-50. And the first two projects in each category will receive a performance bonus, a gold and silver medal. I'm trying to create the categories, and currently this is the way I see the category. So you can take in a project by the discovery. So like Lilith right now, Lilith has actually discovered this idea about having a community gathering. That did not come out of the community management. That came out of Lilith's mind. So she would get discovery credit for that. Similarly, for the idea, let's say, of having the contest, if it gets implemented by HR, yes, that is Lilith's discovery points, and then the implementation may or may not be in the HR chapter, right? So that's the first part. I think that requires leadership competency and leadership excellence because you're essentially the first to do it. You're the first to come up with the idea and visualize what needs to be done. So the second part is the solution process. The solution process could be leadership competency, it could be leadership excellence, it could be project competency, it could be project involvement, it could be project excellence, right? So you need to actually create a way to deliver the solution. And this is involvement in the creative process of coming up with a solution to a problem. And also, creating a benefit from an opportunity. So if you're involved in that part, then you get credit for that. Execution. Execution is mostly process involvement, process competency. It could be leadership as well if we need to organize some people to get them to work on it, and leadership excellence as well. So those are essentially the framework for collecting credit. Okay, so how does this work? Ranking 1 projects get a 2x share for each credit category. Ranking 2 projects get a 1x share for each category. We add the shares up, and then the total budget is divided amongst all the shares, and each member receives a share corresponding to their share size, right? So I'll sort of walk you through how that works. So the categories that I picked for April that essentially got credit were finance auto reporting was the number one result. That if we have finance auto reporting, the explanation is this is our weakest and it's our most vulnerable chapter. There's nobody working on this at the moment besides Bayu and Wayana. So this is a liability if we do not get it fixed. We will lose partnerships if we do not find a way to accurately report. And we have nobody working on it right now. So that's even more, that's even worse. So this also becomes a scaling benefit if we fix it. So this has been fixed, and I would think that this is the most pertinent project to thrive. Bayu was essentially the executor on this. He discovered the idea, he created the solution, and then he executed entirely. So he gets 3 credits and 6 shares for that particular project. Okay, let's go to the other Thrive project. The other Thrive project I gave second place was this idea of professional networking. So professional networking right now is crucial for us to discover what to do. There's not much point in us kind of sitting around and working on things if we don't know what actually works. So this is vision. This is a process of vision finding. So finding the direction on where to go is one of the most crucial parts of rebuilding a company. And I believe that the fastest and most efficient way is to get clear direction and advice from quality mentors. And we also get a lot of good energy back from getting that involved. I didn't put myself in any of these categories, so I'm giving credit to other people. But I would say that Aldo didn't discover this idea, but he did create the solutions and he did create the execution that was necessary. Shinthia and R were involved in the execution of this idea. So essentially, these guys get 2 credits, 1 credit, and 1 credit. And because it's a second priority project, they get 1 share. It's just a number of credits. It's multiplied by 1. So altogether, that's four shares plus 6 shares. So that's 10 shares. So 10 shares, then divided by the budget of 10 million, that makes it a credit of 1 million per share, and then everyone gets rewarded according to how many shares they get. Okay, and for Survive, there was 23 shares. There was more people involved. Um, this one is based on my visibility, and this visibility might not be accurate. But I thought that the Nusa Dua deals were some of the most important to help us survive in terms of cash income that was outside the regular sort of standard processes. So this one was where we got the most infusion of cash, and I believe Chandra, Nadine, and Vidi were involved in this, and I think you guys were involved in all steps of the process. So that's 3 shares apiece. That's 3 credits apiece and 6 shares apiece. And then community building was the second thing that I thought was actually pretty vital for surviving. If we don't do community building, then we would lose essentially partnerships. So that's necessary for survival. And projects like 3C, CSC, and staff bigger training, this is necessary to retain and enhance our community. And this is the start of a process that will enable us to preserve and scale our community globally. So on Andre, I think I came up with that idea. So no credits on discovery, but Andre was the one that did the solution and also the execution. Tendi independently also came up with his own plan to do COVID safe cleaning. So that was actually an inspiration to us as well. Um, and he gets three credits for discovery, solution, execution for that. And since these shares are category on Survive, they each get 1 million per share. So that's how that worked. On honorable mention, I put in remote work culture, general branding, pricing, scraping, and advertising on Facebook and Google, mainly because these projects have not had results yet, right? And that's okay. A lot of times we are starting this, and the results might not show right away, and it might just take some time before the results are there. Okay, so that in general is this new category by which we are experimenting, not for sure yet, with the way to distribute income. So my idea is that we will set up a schedule for revisions once a month for the next 5 months. So I don't believe this is finished yet. I believe that this is very imperfect. And when it comes to people's pay, I think we need to be as fair and as visible as possible. So the end goal is we want to develop a system that is a meritocracy. It should be the most fair for achievers. It should be helpful for progressive learners, and it should be biased against non-achievement and biased against stagnation. So not doing anything, not trying. That should be where there's actually no bonus rewarded at all. Okay, let's go for comments and questions. Let's go to Lilith. Do you have any comments or questions on this right now? And be as brutal as possible.
Mm, wait, sir. May I ask for the performance? I haven't clear yet about that. Oh, that's the performance. Yep, yep. That's the one that you explained by Thrive and Survive, isn't it, sir?
Yeah. So this is not the individual
Oh.
bonus. This is not the individual bonus that you're being met on your. This is revenue. This is revenue that's coming in. We have to decide
Mm.
where that goes, right? Um, Going on into the future. Okay. Yeah. I'll go back to Lilith. Yeah.
Maybe my comments is maybe first question. How difficult you identify which people that that is involved in the project.
I do it generally looking at people's OKRs and their activity on
Mm,
Trello now. So we basically have a here. I'll show you kind of the other side. We have like I explained in the all hands actually. So on the all hands that we talked about yesterday, there is a metric now, and so we take all the OKRs and we take the Trello, and I look at people's activity. Now, this is
mm,
the problem, right? It could be people
mm,
are over-reporting, or they're not reporting, or they're under-reporting, and this is why I also want to evolve everybody to a written documentation culture as well, because a lot of things could have been done, but just it wasn't documented, so it's harder to see. And I
mm,
will also make this public. That's the other way. So when we make this public, then if there is any discrepancies or anything that isn't right, then I hope people will raise those issues, or they will offer like I've been misidentified. I wasn't actually, responsible for that. And I think that's part of creating an honor system. That we should have an honor system by which, if you were acknowledged for work that you didn't do, then please just say that, hey, look, that credit doesn't go to me. That credit actually should go to another person. And if you were credible for a certain task and you were ignored or you weren't included, then speak up, right? It might be because there's just isn't any trace, or maybe I didn't see it at the moment.
because you assess based on project, right, sir? But uh the OKRs is like personal OKRs.
That's right.
For uh eh, as I know, the OKR template is not in involving others, right?
No.
So, for
This
example, in this May, I will take part on the community project, and then maybe that's also be my OKRs. But others also execute this. Maybe they won't also put this as their OKR. So it's just like I'm thinking of the OKRs into project. I mean,
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that'd be a tighter
yeah,
integration, yeah. Okay.
yeah. Well, for example, I'm as the project champion, and then I will put my OKRs as in the tribe, and then I will put which one involved in that, and then maybe you can assess from that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's more simple and
I think so.
people can see.
I think so. I think it can be like, let's say, the discoverer can be the project champion, right? In this particular instance. So whoever champions it, they have their OKRs, and then we can see who is involved in the
Yeah, yeah.
execution. Okay, great idea. I think that's a very good suggestion. I'm going to write that down as part of an improvement idea already. So this idea of integration with OKRs. Okay, all right, great. Vinny, over to you. Uh, any ideas on your part?
Yeah, I think for the basics for this as a scratch idea, it's pretty good because it measures a lot of people's project. But I agree with Lilis. Sometimes when I ask help a lot, I ask quite a lot of help from HR team, let's say, because they help me a lot in communicating with owners or collecting informations. And I do like you've seen in my card, I constantly credit people who give me information. For example, I credit Andre for sharing me about the COVID project, and I like to give people credit for that. But I don't know if, for example, that kind of thing happens with other individuals, right? People
Hey,
sometimes do not. Yeah.
hey, I'll share with you a story that I found fairly inspirational today. So I think credit should be shared to volunteers. Bayou just started this today. So what Bayou did was he got that bonus, but then he donated a portion of that bonus to the people that helped him actually achieve that target, right? So I think that was a really good gesture, and I think that if you want to be, I think there's a two-way on that one. If you want to, let's say, be a good citizen, then if you get a bonus, then share it, right? If you don't want to be a good citizen, then and you don't need anybody's help and you can do it all alone, then don't do that. But I don't know how to make that. Okay, uh, I can't have that be centralized necessarily because I can't see what happens. Right, I can't see all the people that Vidi had worked with and he wants to acknowledge. I think what that can be, Vidi, is a form of like a core value recognition, but like a secondary share. Like, hey, thank you for acknowledging me. I'm happy I got this revenue share. I would like to share a portion of this with the people that made this possible, right? And that I think would be okay. Yes, to Vidi.
So that's why the idea that I pitched regarding daily log, because
Yes,
in daily log you can actually attach the Trello card and also the thing that you do.
yeah,
So that's because what my based on my discussion with Kara, as we go more remote, and we might have a lot of employees from all over the world. Sometimes this kind of judgment, let's say, I agree, is subjective. Depends on the whether you see it or not, kind of like that, something like that. Right? But if we have a daily log, and I think Kara also pitched this to you already, that people write their activities each day and even mention the cards they're working on and which projects. Have you seen the daily logs there?
not a lot. No, I'm seeing
Okay.
the bugs. Yeah.
So if I may, I'll try to share what the daily log looks like, and maybe there will be you can visualize it better.
Okay.
So let's see.
But let's be specific also, I think, video on this one. It's more of like not necessarily like a daily log on activity gets rewarded, right? Um,
Yep, yep.
it's more like if the result actually happened to win, who was involved in the execution.
Oh, if that's the case, then maybe every time someone helps, then you can enter their name in as a join as an assignee in the Trello card, right?
I think so. I think that might be a good way to see it, and perhaps also there might need to be. I okay. The best way I think right now that I can do it, Vidi, is perhaps I need also delegates to sort of like within a project. Maybe I say, okay, this project won, and then you guys figure out what the award and how it should.
Oh yeah. That's a good idea. Like the decentralization that I mentioned before in leadership, right?
You got it. You got
You
it.
can be chapter leads, and then maybe in a project, then you can also have that. Like it's a part of the documentation of a project. Let's say,
Mhm.
like
Yes.
after you've done a project, there must be a documentation, right?
Yes.
It makes sense. Because if we write a script for example, in internal tools, we always have to upload it in the repository in the GitLab. Then we write the documentation about like what's the process, what's the result, and then maybe also in that document you can also put the credit.
Yes.
Like in your thesis, let's say you just mentioned the resources and put the credit.
All right. I like that.
Something like that. So it's maybe integrated as a part of make it a habit of documenting each project after it's even if after it's done basically.
Excellent. That's precisely the idea. It would work a little bit like recursion, I think. Like there's one sort of central idea that this is the way bonuses should be distributed, and then it can recursively go through the entire company, right? Like they can go to this person. This person then knows, okay, how do they break it down to their contributors, and so on and so forth. That's what I'm trying to think of. This is a recursion problem, and how do you make this into a recursive rule so that it's always done correctly? Yes, to Lilith.
Um, as I explained before, if you assess based on project, for example, VD as a project lead of the price scraper, for example, and then each project champion has an obligation to document, as VD explained just now. But uh, what we have to do now is make the format of that report. For example, which one is participated and what the project champion describe what is the the contribution of each person. So you later can just only read those report as you have the beliefs on the project champion. You can only assess by that. So how many credits would you give? And then, for example, there's five people that involved, but you think that only three is most significant one. You
Mhm.
can only give to 3%. So it's just like simplifying the process and delegating the process into the project champion.
I agree. I agree. I think that that's most likely the best way. At this point, also we have some stuff that isn't documented on Trello, like the deals with Nusa Dua. I don't think any of that was documented because that was all done sort of live. So I just had to sort of. Is it all in bigger? Okay. All right. What do you mean it's all in bigger? The deals are put into bigger, but nobody like who contacted the guest, who sold the guest, who negotiated with the guest, who. So for that, it was just the way I saw it. It was like a collective effort for the people who
Yeah.
were the most.
I think making a Dropbox paper, sir, and then attach to the Trello, just like the simplest way.
Okay. All right. Look, like I said, it's not perfect, and it is limited by my particular visibility on each particular thing. And I'm hoping by making it transparent, people will do the right thing. That they'll just say, "Hey, look, that credit should actually go a little bit further, or this is not the way it should be done." But this is why I'm opening up for discussion because I think, yeah, I don't see everything, and neither will anybody see everything. But what we do want to make a system that's fair for everybody who's involved, and most importantly, we want to create a culture that incentivizes, let's say, the right behaviors. When the right behaviors just become standard practice, then we're all good in terms of how this is played. Okay, very good advice and documentation. But also, we want to avoid, let's say, over documentation for the purpose of credit. I think that could be also what that's where it starts becoming like spam, right? Rather than signal. So I think this idea of a project champion um, perhaps is the leader on a particular project and the discoverer of the project, and then that person then decides, okay, how much portion goes to this? Who is really involved in the solution, and who is really involved in the execution, and how what are the appropriate credits to give to each person for that? Um, Okay, all right. That is, let's say this is the first iteration of this process, and we will have, once again, like I said, probably five more iterations before it'll become impactful. The benefit of this is yes, then we will have essentially a good remote team work culture. It'll be clear how sort of benefits are divided, and we have a collective goal to work towards as well, which is always more exciting. Okay, any other comments from Liz or Vidi?
Mm, I think it's really good, and eventually it will converge. I believe it will converge. I think it will converge to a better system eventually.
Okay.
And for the, I think the main problem is the way we document now is not stable.
Yeah.
Will be unstable, and
It's bad
yeah,
communication.
not necessarily communication, but the documentation of let's say projects. After you're done with these projects, where can I find the report, and what's the result of the project, let's say. And if we rely on making a paper that is scattered everywhere, eventually we'll have a large chunk of tax expander alias that we don't know.
I agree. There should be some sort of gallery. We've tried to do that with what we're trying to do with paper. That's I know, Vidi, you're doing the folder structure right now.
Yes,
What we
yes,
try to do is like more like a website. So it should be like
yes,
a homepage.
index, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that too. But I think people are more used to like Lilis. I know that she's more used to Google Drive as opposed to paper, right?
But the way
Yeah.
Vinny, the way that I've designed it is that you should be able to access everything in the company through the all hands. The all hands should be the repository where everything. I mean, it's not that way right now, I think, but the idea is that from all hands, you should be able to sort of, find everything you need, right? Orientation material, blah 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 blah, and you would just sort of navigate through that like a website. Um, so I don't know. We have two contrasting formats here. Yeah, let's go to Lewis.
Actually, from the beginning, when I start know about the OKRs and also the Trello, when before we have like squad sync up, and then we kind of have two version of OKRs before, just like on the Trello and also on the Dropbox. So it's just like I'm confused. What is the different function of OKRs and on the Dropbox and also the updates on Trello? Because it's basically the same, I think. It's like the I mean the content is relatively the same. What do you think about that, sir? I mean, just like asking.
You mean currently or like
Previously
Already
in
also we have like you ask for the OKRs for from each person that should be attached on the all hands, and then we also have our Trello board to use as the updates. I mean, what
oh, okay.
is the difference
OKRs I
between
think are a little bit more global for individual performance, right? It's like you can say that currently, uh, you can set, let's say, an OK around an initiative, right? So I'm working on, let's say, a community initiative. My key result will be this, 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 and this, right? Um, the Trello board, I think, is more of, let's say, a working draft. It's a working draft of your ideas and where you want to bring your ideas. So you have a main idea, main mission, and then you have these pivots that you're working on. But what is the result of all this work at the end, right? What is sort of like, what does this all this add up to? If we don't make it a OKR, then we have a blind spot. It just becomes activity for activity's sake. Let's just go on a lot of pivots and let's go on a lot of initiatives and let's like not really focus on any result. So the OKR is a way to say, all right, this is my design draft board, right? These are all my ideas, and I'm looking to attain a particular result by the end of this, right? I'm looking to attain a particular type of flavor of achievement, and that's essentially what the OKR is about. Um, Trello is a work in progress. It's kind of like I'm doing this idea, I'm doing this idea, I'm doing this idea, but how does it all tie together at the end of the month? What have you actually what have you actually achieved? So without that, then there's a blind spot. And we did that before without OKRs, and it just generated activity after activity, but no clear progression. So we don't want to do that. We want to have clear, let's say, goals, or sometimes they're built in reverse, Lilith. Like the way that we did the missions. I don't know what was motivating me, but I just knew that we need everyone aligned, right? We need to get people kind of figuring out what they need to do. So that's how we came up with the idea of the mission, the initiative, the pivot. Um, and we needed to make that as real as possible, as quickly as possible. I didn't really have a goal when I was doing that, besides we need to get everybody lined up, right? So that people don't get distracted and bad habits start forming. And then it was only through retrospective that I could actually piece together what was my OKR. It was only like, oh, okay, what have I done? I've actually gotten sort of habits formed now. I've gotten people to be able to create their own daily journeys on what they want to do. So that is a process of reverse OKR, right? Sort of like you do all the work and then you look back and you see, yes, you have a result, right? You definitely have a result. You can't say that there's no result. But then you trace back to, okay, what were you trying to do? Both ways are okay, right? One way is I work better the second way. I sometimes just do something, and then at the end I realize what I did. Uh, Other people are different. Other people might need a direction, right? I'm going to work on this, and this is what I intend to achieve. Um, it depends on people's personalities. If you tend to enjoy activity, you could have an OKR at the end, and it might be you learn that these things were not actually feasible, and that's okay. That's part of like learning from failure, and that might be an achievement for the company. If you figure out that this is impossible and that we should not spend a year working on it, and you can prove that it's not possible, that I think is a failure, but actually an achievement in the form of a failure. Um, what we shouldn't do is sometimes just as important as what we should do. So in that respect, I think that's the way to integrate the idea of an OKR with your Trello and not have it be conflicting, but actually be complementary. Okay.
Okay, so from your explanation, I can summarize that the Trello is our activity board, and then the OKRs might be the summary of the result, because
Yeah.
there's action and then there is the key result, right? And the
Yes.
objective. So just like simply you only look at the OKR and you know everything that
I could,
or
yes. I could simply look at the OKRs and then
yeah.
just see what's happened through. I don't necessarily need to delve into the activity too much. I can just see, okay, has this key result achieved, and is this key result actually something that is, yeah, that's right. All the key results will be essentially stacked up at the end of the month, and we'll just pick like, okay, these are the most impactful key results that help us thrive, or these are the most impactful key results that help the company survive. Um, and some of them, those will have longer timelines. Some of them will have shorter timelines. So it is, it could be, yeah, like let's say for example, you have to think about this progressively too. You could work on something, and eventually 2 months later it comes out, and other people might be working on short projects that don't have as much impact as, let's say, whatever you've nurtured. So it could be like a marketplace, right? It takes longer to grow caviar, but when caviar is released on the market, it makes a lot more impact than maybe mushrooms or something. So that's where I'm thinking about how to make it fair, so that if you do have long impact, boom, you'll get the reward for it at some point in the future too. Okay, cool. Does that answer your question, Vidi? Or did you have a similar? Okay, right. So they're complementary, not conflictory, right? Not contradictory. Okay, but it's a good question. I think a lot of people might be wondering about that too, as well. Uh,
Yeah, because me and VD actually is like, oh, we haven't updated our OKI. It's like,
OKRs are everything. Like I said, like
yeah,
like I said, you can form your OKRs post. Me too. I've been spending more time doing things than time thinking about what I'm going to do, and later on, it's not until you finish everything that you realize, oh, this is my impact. Or it could be you finish everything and you realize maybe I didn't make any impact. Maybe these projects are not where the most crucial things currently are at the moment. And don't be discouraged. Just think of, hey, where can that be? Ask me. I'm grading right now. I'll tell you the truth, right? I'll tell you where we need that. And those are great questions to have. Hey, Gene, what do you think is something I can do to have the most impact this month? And I'll be like, good question. I don't know, right? Let's think. Let's do analysis. Let's see what we can do. Never think of yourself as part of the problem. Please don't do that, right? Think of the problem as something that is objective, not something that is, oh, like Jing doesn't like me, or like he doesn't like what I did. My work is wasted. No, it's not about that. It's mostly about like, all right, is the timing right? Is this the most crucial problem? It's leadership, right? Asking yourself, is this the most urgent thing that we need to work on? Is this the highest priority problem? And then push back on me. Maybe I haven't given you the resources. Maybe I haven't given you the directions. Maybe I haven't given you the tools. Whatever, right? Let me know if that's not the case, and then we can all, I think, progress in the right direction. Okay. All right. I'm glad this is a very passionate topic. It's fun. Okay, all right, everyone. Okay, Vidi, last comments from your side.
Yeah, I think we have to see like you've implemented this yesterday, or is it going to be implemented?
Today, so it's going to be implemented today with all the
All right.
So what we've actually what you guys are experiencing was something that we had talked about before. That was part of an HR mistake we did before, and now we're trying to fix it. So one of the HR mistakes before was this idea. Yes. Oh wait. Oh, Aldo wrote. Wait. Yes. Yes, please. One of the things that we talked about before in HR was that we used to bundle bonuses and base pay together, and then people wouldn't be able to feel the difference, right? Like, oh, I just, they would just look at overall pay. So one of Bayou's thoughts was that we should separate it. We should separate base pay and that from actual bonus. It wasn't perfect. We kind of combined base pay and individual bonus yesterday, so that was issued out. But this idea of the day after there will be additional bonuses based on performance is something we want to sort of clarify. It's currently not really scale. Well, actually, it is scalable because yes, Vinny.
It will be scalable soon, sir, because HR have requested a payroll history feature in Bigger, right?
Yes. All right.
And then we can bundle it in the transfer, like in the transfer, but then for we have details on how much is what, right?
Excellent. Okay. So great. That I think will make the process of understanding base and bonus and incentives far more clearer to everybody in the company. Okay, this is necessary, I think, to sort of create the right culture because as I look across the work over the previous month, there is definitely some work that's great and some work that's not so great, and a lot of work that maybe intends to be great but maybe not quite there yet, and some work that does not intend to be great. So we need to create some sort of signal to acknowledge the differences in work, or just for debate purposes, let's go over the list and video. Should we pay everybody the same, just flat? Ooh, that would,
That's straight right, very similar to the idea of communism, right?
yeah, which ultimately doesn't work, right?
Well, I think meritocracy is good.
Okay, meritocracy is good for me.
Meritocracy is good.
Okay, and
When I think when there is a flat, what is that? Salary. Everyone was just like, I will get the same. It's like,
Flat pricing, right?
yeah,
no, no, no,
no
no.
motivation to work more.
Okay. Yes, I think so. I think if you add up all the core values together, they essentially add up to a growth culture. And if we don't create growth incentives, then there will be no growth. There might be stunted growth, right? So okay, so whatever we do, I just want you guys because I think you guys think deeply about these type of things, and your questions have reflected that too as well. I need some help thinking about how to make this process once again, like back up to the top idea. We need to make it a meritocracy. We need to make it fair for people who are making achievements, and also helpful for progressive learners. And also, I think I need it to be like it needs to help with alignment in company objectives. We need to allocate correct resources to the projects that are, let's say, the most impactful. Um, but that part might be difficult and subjective too, as well. Right? So, okay. All right. Enough said on that one. I just wanted to bring you guys into that world. Oh God, we're 20 minutes over time. I guess we once again fell into a very passionate discussion again. Like always, every time we just, or maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just monologuing the whole time.
No, it's a good discussion actually. I think like yesterday. Have you watched the video yesterday, sir?
Which one? Oh, the one where you guys were talking for 2 hours?
Yeah, we actually talked about burnout, and I think it's a healthy like discussion. Like, well, I don't know. For me, I have some people that I in the company that I can freely talk to,
Yep.
and even if we're talking about work, it seems like it just flows because it's fun and it's productive, but it's fun. Does it make sense?
Yeah, of course. Like what we're doing right now.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of like joke around and just but still talking about work, and that actually makes sense a lot because at that like it increases your motivation to actually work. And I think if people do not get again Maslow's theory of motivation, right? We have I even after so long, it still remains true. If people are not comfortable in their workplace, they might lose motivation.
Of course. Okay. I'll watch that then. Yeah, because I think there might be some. Um,
Just like it's too long. Don't take your time to watch that.
it's just perfect. I think that's really good. I forgot to stop recording, so the recording's even longer. The recording's like,
Right.
but I'll take a look at that, and I'll try to learn what the content in those are about. But anyhow, this is an exciting process of rebuilding
Yep.
a
Yep.
global company, and this part is something that I want to scale, right? So it needs to work with us. It needs to work with hundreds of people one day, hopefully that will want to work here. So yeah, we should probably set the intention of it correctly so that over time it will get refined. Okay.
Quick question, sir.
Yes, sir.
For Lumis, actually, how many owners have replied to the invitation? Any updates? How many owners?
Last I see 7 owners.
7. Okay.
Yes, 7 owners and 18 outsider, but I haven't checked it yet.
Okay.
That's good. Like 7 and 18 is like 25 people, right?
Yeah, I hope they will come. I will remind uh by sending email, I think, the day before.
Don't worry, don't worry. No, 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 no! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't send email. Send a call, right?
Oh,
If it's
call.
last minute, you should call everybody to remind them. Email, remember, some people have
Oh,
like this is for marketing, DM. So email, some people, like some emails I check once a week, right?
Right.
Personal email I check very infrequently. So if you email them on the day of, they might not hear. You should email in the very beginning, followed by WhatsApp, and then last minute, as you're getting closer, uh, call. Call and just double check. Hey, look, are you coming today? We just want to make sure that you be here at this webinar. And then you'll get very good attendance. Everybody will come if you call. But you can't be shy. If you're shy, then nobody will come. Right? So you have to call. You really do have to call. Calling is we did that for our event in November, and people showed up, right? So yeah, because it's not that they don't want to come, Lilith. It's just that they forgot, and between the time you told them that there was an invitation, they got 6 birthday invitations and 15 wedding invites and all this other things happened. And it's not that they don't want to come; they just kind of forgot about it, right? If you call them, oh, that's the day. Oh, good, I'll go. And then they'll come. Okay.
okay, sir.
Okay. All right. Don't worry. You can distribute across the entire company. It'll be like sending out those cancellation emails, right? We'll just go down our call list and call everybody to come in. All right. All right. So I'll stop the recording now, and you guys have a what is it, Wednesday, right? I felt like it was Friday already for some reason. Oh, because we're not having a meeting tomorrow. That's why
Right.
it's like a holiday from the Syncos. But okay, Russian class tonight with Aldo, and I studied on my Duolingo, so I'm ready. And
Spada.
wait, cock? No, not cocktails. How are you? Cock is how, right? Like, I don't know. I forgot his name. No, that's asking somebody's name. All right, I'll stop if I keep.
Right. Stop the recording.